about tomorrow.
I
We're going
got you,
to
sir. I
do the
got you.
Easter egg. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
No
Okay.
worries, sir.
Welcome to the Writers Workshop. I want to thank Brother Chris Thomas for being our host as always. We're here on The Voice, 17104 Harrisburg, and 17104.com. And we're always glad to have this Friday night slot from 7 until 9. And we have a lot of fun. Different people come on at different times. And we just enjoy talking about poetry, talking about things that's going on in the community, people writing novels, all kinds of stuff. We do have a wonderful event tomorrow. It's called the Spring Fling. The Spring Fling. We were going to have an Easter egg hunt last Saturday, and we were concerned about the weather, about the rain, and it turned out to be actually not a bad day at all. So we had postponed it, but we're going to take a stab at it tomorrow. And Brother Chris, as always, is right on the spot. He brings up the flyers and stuff for us. Thank you, my brother. And that's a beautiful flyer that was created by Sarita Henderson, and she does all of our work for us. Does a great job with these flyers and stuff. And Brother Chris actually does flyers for me as well. We're going to see one of those flyers in a minute. And this one here is for tomorrow. And again, it's April the 6th. We're going to be over at 900 South Arlington Avenue, and that's here in Harrisburg, and it's out there in the Union Deposit area. So if you know anything about Harrisburg, you know there's the Community General Hospital. A lot of people still call it the Osteopathic Hospital. We're like two doors up from there. So that's the Londonderry Road. And you want to come over, we're going to be outside, and hopefully the weather's going to be relatively cooperative. It's kind of chilly out there today, but we're hoping to have real nice weather. Listen, we're going to have all kinds of activities, all kinds of Easter eggs. We're still going to do the big Easter egg hunt for the children. We have a lot of fun games set up for the kids as well, and for the adults. There you go. Look at that. Yeah, all those things. So we have, I think, like 101 Easter baskets. So if we get that many kids out, at least, and if concerned about that, you can bring your own basket as well. But we have candy galore. We have all kinds of, like I said, little games and things we're going to play, and music. So just come on out, bring your whole family out, have some fun. We're there from 12 noon until 5 p.m. And we're going to have vendors. We have at least one food vendor, so you won't starve. And also we have people selling all kinds of various wares and stuff. And you don't have to buy anything, but if you want to, the opportunity will be there for you. It's always a fun time. This is sponsored by the Writers Workshop and Life Esteem Incorporated. Life Esteem, of course, is a creation of my wife, Pat Gadsden, and she's been running that since about 1990. And then we now have Life Esteem Ministries. Speaking of Life Esteem Ministries, Brother Chris pulled together a nice flyer for us to talk about what's going to happen on Sunday. On Sunday, which is the 7th, they're at Life Esteem Ministries, our church. We're located at 3600 Vartan Way. As you can see, that's my wife and I, and the good brother by the name of, Brother Russell Goodman. See the brother with the nice tuxedo on. He will be preaching. Brother Goodman is an excellent preacher. If you want to hear the word, you want to come out and check him out. That's Sunday, April the 7th at 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And we're going to be there at 3600 Vartan Way. It's a wonderful church. So if you come down Progress Avenue and make a right onto Vartan Way, come all the way back, and you can't go any further, you make that left, and you'll see the wonderful church called Living Springs, Redeemed Christian Church of God. We're on the second floor of that building, and we are in Life Esteem Ministries, Redeemed Christian Church of God. And so you just come up, they'll direct you to our church, and you'll have a good time. And if you can't make it out, you can always catch our service online on Facebook Live, and it'll be on live from 11 until 12:30. And you will hear Pastor Goodman rightly divide the word. Brother Bill White and myself, I'm the pastor, and Brother Bill White's assistant pastor, and we always do our part as well. And tomorrow, like I said, we're going to have a guest speaker, and not tomorrow, but Sunday, and we're just going to have a good time. You're always invited to Life Esteem Ministries, Redeemed Christian Church of God. Every Sunday we have a wonderful service. And we always do family programs as well. I don't know if you noticed or not, but we're in the midst of completing our SAFE program. SAFE stands for Strong African American Families. It is an evidence-based program. It was created out of, I think it's Emory University down in Atlanta. And it is well thought out, a wonderful program The families that come through it have a lot of fun. And we always have a full meal. We hire a cook, and it happens to be Miss Denise Lickers is our cook this year. And she is an excellent cook. And so anyhow, we have a good time, we have food, and then we learn together as well. And it's for all ages. We even have childcare. And childcare is, of course, like daycare. And we have trained people to work with the children while we're, in our groups, whether it be, youth, teenagers or adults. We have a book that's leading us through the activities and the learnings that we're supposed to complete that evening. And then we, come together as a family, a unit, and we do some more activities together. And that's always from 6 until 8:30. And we're meeting right now at the Stilton Mennonite Church there in Stilton, Pennsylvania. And I'm telling you, we have a great time. These programs are free. I don't know if I mentioned that. These programs are free, and they're sponsored through Dauphin County Children, actually Dauphin County Drug and Alcohol Office, the Dauphin County Drug and Alcohol Office. And then we do two other programs too. Strengthening Families, which is a 16-session program. I'm sorry, 14-session program. And then Strong African American Families, we do that. But also Celebrating Families. And Celebrating Families is a 16-session endeavor. And we do our programs twice a week. And so that means we're stepping Strong African Americans only 7 weeks. But the ones that are like 14 weeks and 16 weeks, we do them usually on a Monday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, or a Tuesday, Thursday. And that's where we set it up. So we have one day in between the two sessions. It's all fun, but it's serious fun because we're learning together about the effects of drug and alcohol, how to be better parents, how to set up conversations between adults and children and all that kind of stuff. Good stuff. If you're ever interested in getting involved, and I hope you are, and not just you can tell your neighbors and other family members, they can come out as well. Just give my wife a call. Her name is Pat Gadsden, and her number is 717-608-2302. 2302. 717-608-2302. You really are missing out if you think it's only for people who have problems. It's not. It's for any family unit. And I'm telling you, it's well done. It really is. So anyhow, that's what's happening with the Writers Workshop in Lake Esteem. Hope to see you tomorrow. We're starting at 12 noon on the dot. And we're going to have a lot of fun. And I want to take my hats off to the young men from the art program, Alternative Rehabilitation Communities. These are young men who have had some challenges, and they're facing the consequences of those challenges, so to speak. But they're willing to get out here and help out in the community. And so they're going to come out thanks to the leadership there with Mr. Duffin and Mr. Jackson, and they're going to bring the young men out to help set up, the tables and chairs to work with the, different activities we have with the young people, and just have a lot of fun as well. They want to give back, and so this is a good thing. So anyhow, that's what's happening, and we hope that you will take advantage of it. By the way, if you are new to The Voice, 17104 Harrisburg, this is it for us. There's no other station in the area that gives us this kind of, programming, and it's more of we have a TV setup, really, when you think about it, and also just a very diverse in terms of the various programs that come on, throughout the week. A lot of good religious programs, a lot of good music, a lot of good conscious thinking and talking about social issues, just a lot of good stuff. So stay tuned to The Voice, 17104 Harrisburg. And if you're interested, who knows, you may want to do your own show. We have Sister Lizelle Powder, brother Chris popped up. There you go. Tell them about this, man. How can they get a
It kind
show?
of sound
How
like
can
our
they get a
cue
show?
there.
There
Thank
you
you so
go.
much, Dr. Gadsden, again for this wonderful opportunity, just to share about the wonderful community opportunities that are
Absolutely.
available on the Voice 17104.com. Again, you were talking about Lizelle Powder, and again, we're elated to be working with Lizelle. We're amazed about her growth as far as the extent of her poetry and learning how to really command an audience, command a
Uh-huh.
crowd. So we're proud to work with her. The Powder Room every Saturday, 11:30 until 12 o'clock, and right before the Powder Room, Dr. Gadsden, the Churches of God in Christ They've
Oh,
actually been with us almost 10 years now. They
oh,
have
that's
a
right.
wonderful Bible discussion,
Yeah,
real Bible friendly, student friendly. It's called the Hope Forum, and that's 10 a.m.
absolutely.
until 11 a.m.
Mhm.
Every Saturday afternoon as well. Again, we thank you for your partnership. I mean, you've hosted many programs on the platform. The
Mhm.
Nathaniel Gadsden Talk Show, the Writers Wordshop.
Mhm.
Consider this. I remember you had considered
Yeah.
this. And then there was
Mhm.
another program I think you had on there, but you've been with us about 8, 9 years. Again, this platform has been created for
Mhm.
everyday people like you and I. Many
Mhm.
of us, we can't afford, $1,000 a month, to be on the Impact Network or some of these other big name network. But for the price of a cup of coffee a day, you could
Mhm.
host your own broadcast here at the voice17104.com. Again, we're basically faith based, but we're not limited to faith based. We call it community driven faith based, where the
Yeah.
community actually drives the majority of our content. All of it's family friendly, but not all of it is necessarily faith based. So we do invite our community. Reach out to us again if you have a podcasting idea, if you need a flyer, you need help building a website. We've actually been very busy. Things been kind of been steady at the studio, but I've been getting more work, off site, helping clients build websites and doing consulting as far as flyers and event planning in the city of Harrisburg. So reach out to us again if you need a flyer, if you need a website, if you want to host a podcast, and don't forget Voice TV as well. Again, that's a
Yeah.
content distribution platform. Writers Workshop 24/7, 365, Life Esteem 24/7, 365, the Big Heart Network, Mr. Richard Utley, Mr. Richard James. Check it out,
Mhm.
voicetv.org.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff, man. You really have, put us on the map, so to speak, now because at one point there was a desert in Harrisburg. We lost
Sure,
our only
sure,
voice for the African American community, and people didn't know where to turn. And so I turned to
wow,
Sirius
wow.
XM, and I like that, but it's not local. So
Sure, sure, sure,
and then all of a sudden you came up, and I said, okay, it's cool. I often think about also. I put this candy in my mouth. Sorry. I
sure.
often think about what was the brother's name? We lost him. He was doing a version of what you're doing now, but it was much smaller. But he was trying to hold the thing. Yeah,
Mr. Thomas Strawbridge?
Strawbridge, man. How about
Yes,
that?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we
Melodies and
lost him.
More. MAMR. Melodies and More Radio. Yes,
Melodies and
sir.
more.
Actually, they
Yeah,
gave
in
me my
fact,
first shot. We
that's
helped him
right.
develop that platform. Yes, sir.
Hmm.
When my external or terrestrial radio career ended, they extended Mr. Strawbridge right there at the right next to the fraternity house, the Q
Yeah.
house up there at the
Hmm.
top of 20th in State. He
Hmm.
had Rosetta's Ice Cream, and inside of Rosetta's Ice Cream and Melodies and More Records, we have
Hmm.
Melodies and More Radio.
Yeah.
We had some of the greatest legends in Harrisburg, Minister Stephen McNeil Lennon, Minister Carolyn White Splawn. He was managing some other local quartet artists. We were actually podcasting before it became even popular or famous. And it was a kind of hard sell back then. But I
Yep.
thank Mr. Strawbridge for allowing me to get my feet wet and to
Yeah.
become pretty knowledgeable to be able to run our own platform now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And and you've sustained, you've persevered, let's put it that way. Because other people have tried to do this, but
Sure,
I don't know,
sure.
they just don't seem to be making it, you know. Now
It's
maybe they
it's a
have
lot of
something
long
going on that
hours.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a
Huh?
it's a lot of long hours. It's more than
Oh,
just a dream or a hope. You really need a plan. You almost need a team.
yeah.
But in the lack of a team, if you have a strong support system,
Mm,
it is possible. But you have to put in a lot of hours. Like I've been
yeah.
sitting at this computer, you wouldn't believe it,
Mm,
uh, Dr. Gadsden, since about 7 a.m. this morning. I've been
yeah.
at this computer working on different things for clients, flyers and websites, and tinkering with our website. We're actually
Mm,
planning a big March for Jesus coming up on March 25th. I just
okay.
created a flyer for that as well. I'm sure you're familiar with Ross and Ruth Willard. They used to have the citywide March for Jesus.
That's
My
right.
wife
Mhm.
been praying what her next move was as far as ministry, and the Lord told her to begin to organize a Kingdom March for Jesus, where we're
Okay.
going to start off right around where the Temple of New Beginnings is here,
Mhm.
around, I think that's about 16th and State next to
Yeah.
Lincoln, the school there. Then we're going to march across the State Street Bridge and then do a 2 hour service on the Capitol steps.
Good,
We're thinking
good,
about
good.
doing Soldiers Grove, but if Jesus tarry, maybe we'll do that next year with more tents and stage and make it like a whole
Mhm.
carnival for Christ. But to scale it back a little bit, we're going to do the Kingdom March for Jesus on May the 25th, and that's going to
Yeah.
be 11:45 until around 3:45. About an hour to walk across the bridge, an hour to meet and pray, and then about a 2 hour service on location. A bunch of presentations, mimes and poetry, spoken word,
Good.
uh, all kind of just an outreach for the community to share the love of
Mhm.
Christ with those that may not have experienced it, or for those that may have experienced it, may have lost touch with that
Absolutely.
touch. So
Absolutely.
I look
Yeah.
forward to
Mhm.
sharing more details about that. There's actually a QR code on the flyer that I created that will direct people to our website that will have the schedule of events, how people can get involved, how they can volunteer
Mhm.
on site and off site as well. So, thank you. I don't want to take up all the time talking
No, it's
about
good
things we're
stuff,
doing,
man. It's
but
good
these are
stuff.
just some
It's
of the things
informational.
happening
Yeah.
in the city of Harrisburg.
Well, I do know that we have a good brother by the name of Brother Irving Smalls. He's a chaplain, a
Okay.
minister, and he's getting
Yes,
ready to
sir.
marry a minister who I can't call her name at this moment. Beautiful lady, and she's assistant pastor, from what I understand, over at Goodwin Memorial Church. And so the two of
Sure.
them will be tying the knot. And I believe the date is May the 25th.
Oh, okay. It's the same
Yeah,
date.
same date. I'm
It's
like,
al-
oh,
it's almost impossible to plan an event where there's nothing
yeah.
going on in the city of Harrisburg. But that's why
Mhm.
there's more than one of us. That we could some of us could go to this event, some of us could go to that event,
Mhm.
and we can make them all successful. So these type of
Absolutely.
events can continue being produced in our city.
Yeah, yeah, no question about it. By the way, I haven't been in touch with him. I have to get back to him. Dr. Charles Stewart, who is the
Okay.
executive director of the PAL program. They now have a new location, and I don't know the address, but they're way out
Sure.
off of what is that street? My goodness, but it's going out toward the ABC lanes. And I think what is it, Locust Lane? It's way out off of Locust Lane. And it's way in
Okay.
the back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It used to be, in fact, I believe Pastor Joppy used to have that as a church.
Okay, Dwight Joppy. Yes,
White
sir.
Joppy,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Is
And
that
so
where
it's beautiful.
The Spirit Filled Missionary Baptist Church is there in Edgemont? That's
Well,
not too
he
far
was
from.
there at Edgemont, yeah. But then I think he left there and from what I understand, I could be wrong about this, but the
No, I think
last,
you're right.
yeah, he left there, was now pastoring in this location, and they have a
New
huge,
Dimensions.
what's it called?
New Dimensions, I think, was the name
New
of the
Dimensions.
ministry.
Okay, okay.
Yes,
Yeah, they
sir.
have
With Pastor
a
Joppy.
large baseball field. They have a building. They've remodeled the building now, and they have, like I said,
Wow.
a baseball field. So they're working on that for the spring and the summer for the kids to be able to play baseball. And they have some other
Sure.
land out there too. It's pretty impressive. I hope it takes off the way they want it to, because that can be
Sure.
a nice spot for young people to really thrive and do some things. So we'll see.
Wow.
But that's off to
Wow.
Brother Stewart and his wife. They've been working hard on that, getting that together. So the PAL program's still on the move, still doing some
Sure.
things. Yeah. I know we didn't talk about it, but you always bring up some great videos. And so
Yes, sir.
if you don't mind playing one of the videos tonight, for people who don't know, here in the Writers Workshop, every week we have some poets that will come on and they will, share their works. But we also have these wonderful videos that Brother Chris finds and then brings them to us. And this is one.
Once upon a time, not long ago, when people thought Obama really changed the globe, laws were stern, but no justice stood, and people were behaving like they were too good. There was a little boy who was misled into thinking he was innocent just because he's innocent. A belligerent, ignorant idiot named Zimmerman, a bigot with the itchiest trigger finger for niggas, let his crime watch position go right to his head. So we walked up on the boy, and this is what he said. You know this ain't the place for a nigga to be, even if you're 17 holding Skittles and tea. So, after the shots, he got off with ease. But cops couldn't stop. It's like they had a disease. They shot another and a sister and a brother. Shot a kid in college, took the father, shot a mother. Cops saw a kid say he acting erratic. They said, keep still, boy, no need for static. Punched him in the belly and they gave him a slap. Threw him in the paddy wagon and his neck got snapped. The cops got scared and they started to figure, I'll do years because I killed this nigga. Then they had a laugh and got back to the block. Not one judge living gonna convict the city cop. Improper lane switch stopped the sister. Let's choke her out. Nobody can miss her. Soon as we get to the police station, we can strangle this bitch and just call it a hanging. Look, there's a nigga selling cigarettes. Put him in a chokehold till he runs out of breath. Knocked the whole family down. They swore they killed him. Blamed on a sniper in an abandoned building. They ran upstairs, up to the top floor. Did they arrest him? No, they blew him up with a bomb. Like, damn, why when the white man shoot up a church or a school, he always leave cool? I need bullets. Hurry up, run. Shot John Crawford holding a toy gun. Lil Tamar got him scared as hell, yo. Toy gun too. He was only 12 though. Cop body count close to 83. Shot Mike Brown, left him dead in the street. Officer, I own a gun and my seatbelt fastened. Rat-a-tat-tat right in front of the family. Follow cop rule and it's still in tragic. Try to run up at they bought the got you in the back then. Peaceful protest, they put the gun up to your head and tell the kids, back off or all of y'all dead. Deep in his heart, they know that it's wrong, but they just scream back the blue and decide to kill on. Sirens sounding, it seems, are sounding, but the only thing you did wrong was have brown skin. No gun, still they shoot for him. And I don't know if we gonna ever end this story. No more COVID-19, but I still can't breathe. They kneeled on his neck, I still hear him scream. This ain't funny, so don't you ha-ha. You think you're safe in your own home, you're not. Ironically, what would have saved both Tom John is if his door would just have used a mirror lock. Ew. Stop fucking killing us, please. They not. Yeah, right. But as long as we make it through this one more, good night. Poem.
Wow. He put that thing together, man. Wow. You know, because he touched on all those issues and people that we know about. And when you think about it in those terms, the way he put that whole thing together, that is incredible. Those people died, and all of them were unarmed, and all of them had they had no justification to take their life, but they did anyhow. Isn't that something? We went to the whole period of time, and it just kept happening. Wow, unbelievable.
Sure.
But that was masterful.
It was quite expressive, and again, our apologies for the colorful metaphors that the gentleman used. The issues are very sensitive, and it's almost hard to express them without using a few. But again, you know, since this is a faith-based platform, I do want to apologize, for the metaphors he may have used. But the point and the truth still stands.
And I'm with you on that, but at the same time, it wasn't, overly done. It wasn't, just throwing it out there. He showed some outrage, but he was tempered. He used maybe one or two words that we gotta, okay. But when you think about the magnitude of the people's lives that were lost and the impact that stuff had on society, I mean, come on, and wow. I remember we had a chance to talk to a young man. When I say we, thinking of Steve Matthews, the brother that was here in Harrisburg for a number of years. Now he went back to Philadelphia. He was born and raised in Philly. Did a lot of time, based on some, crimes he had committed. I met him at Camp Hill Prison. And so we became friends and still are. And so I was asked to talk to a young man who during that era, when all this stuff was happening and we had to protest here in Harrisburg and all that, they labeled him as someone who wanted to commit suicide by police. 26-year-old young man, good looking guy. Looked like he had a lot going for him, but he got caught up in this mindset of wanting to, confront the police and all that. And he just wanted to be, And so we went in and talked to him, and I asked, could Steve go with me? And I said, because brother, you've been there, done that. And maybe you can pour some sense into this brother, Sure. And Steve sat there and sat there and sat there, and then finally said, hey man, and he really went at this guy hard because he wanted the guy to know that this is what happens to you in prison. I mean, you come in for all that bravado, all that stuff. He said, ain't nobody backing down from you. you know.
Sure,
And then
sure,
in there,
sure.
it's dog eat dog, you know.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, you
Yes,
don't want to do
sir.
that. So anyhow, it was a powerful session. But when I think about how that guy could have easily have been one of those victims that he just, talked about because he
Yes,
had that
sir.
mentality of I'm going to confront you, I'm going to do this.
Wow.
And they will shoot, you know.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
let's
Yes,
just be
sir.
honest about it. And so many young men need to know, you run into these stores, you bum rush in the store, you're stealing these sneakers, stealing jewelry, all that kind of stuff. You're getting away with it until you don't. And when
Yes,
they
sir.
catch you, the question becomes, will you still live? And I'm not trying to paint all
Wow.
the police as being, trigger
Yes,
happy,
sir. Yes, sir.
because they're not. All of them are not like that. But you don't want to find that one that is, you know? You
Sure,
find that one that
sure.
is, you may not make it home.
I'm sure you may be familiar with the African American boxer. I saw a movie in the last year or so. It was about an African American boxer back when interracial dating wasn't popular, and he had a Caucasian wife. And even
Jack
though he was
Johnson,
popular, is that who it was? It was
yeah,
like about an hour, 45 minutes, hour and a half movie, but it was so powerful to see behind the scenes that even though he was powerful, even though he was famous, he was rich. Every time he drove that fancy car in certain neighborhoods, he would get pulled over, and then he would get offended because it's like, come on now, you should know who I am. The car's registered to me. Why are you giving? Since he was big and he was a huge black guy, as soon as he got out the car, he's really intimidating, and he really took some licks and kept going back and forth to prison. And then they found him dead at the end of the movie by a drug overdose, but he never did drugs.
yeah,
Why before he died? So that his death was kind of a mystery how
yeah,
he ended up dying because they said he OD'd, but never was a partier, never, I think he drank and hung out with the ladies, but never did any kind
yeah.
of hard drugs.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that, a young lady contacted me, and I might have mentioned this, on the show before, and she was going to our church where her grandma was. And
Sure.
so she came, a number of times, but never was really a member. But anyhow, she got in some trouble based on meeting this guy, and the young guy was into some stuff he shouldn't have been into. And so by the time she realized what was going on, she said, "No, I don't want to have nothing to do with that." But then she was already linked to him. So when the stuff
Okay.
went down, they picked her up as well as picked him up because they figured, oh, you had to know what was going on, man. And she was like, I didn't know until, he showed me this, this crap. And so she was shaking in the boots. She was like, I didn't do that stuff. I wasn't no mule. I didn't carry any drugs. But that's what they're trying to say I did. She said, they come and pick me up. They take me down on Cameron Street. She said, up under the bridge, there's all these cops. She said, detectives mostly, but plainclothes cops as well as. She said, this is 12 o'clock in the afternoon. This is broad
Sure.
daylight. It's is that Marbury Street, the Marbury Street Bridge? And we
Yes,
drove
sir.
down there. She wanted to show me. She said, you may see someone down there now. So we drove down there. And she called me because she wanted to know what to do. Why did she call me? Because the police gave her an opportunity to be a mouthpiece. In other words, some of those guys
Wow.
he was hanging out with, and all you got to do is
Yes,
tell
sir.
us where did he get stuff from, who did he hang out. And so you'll be an informant. And if you're an informant, they'll never touch you. You can, if you get in any kind of problems, we'll handle that. And she said, it sounded like something out of a movie. She goes down there, she said, and they're really putting the pressure on her. And they had a
Sure.
couple other guys. She said, I saw all of them. They had gotten in trouble too, young people. She said, and they're putting the pressure on these guys. So I go to court with her, and the court is at Dauphin County Prison. And so we're sitting there, and she said, see that guy over there? She said, he was there. She said, I bet you he's gonna, he's playing along with them. She said, they told me this was gonna happen to me and I'm gonna be convicted and blah, blah, blah. She said, they had those guys shaking in the boots. She said, so was I. She said, but think about it,
Wow.
someone tell you that stuff really does, that's just TV. She said, no, it's not. She said, these guys are willing to do anything. And it's right here in Harrisburg, and she said, if I'm making it up, but she said, I bet you that guy's gonna go in there and be talking some stuff and blah, blah, blah. Well, anyhow, we all know, and I won't mention the guy's name since we're in the area, but he
Sure.
got busted, major drug bust here in Harrisburg because he had a church van full of drugs, 3 o'clock in the morning. Apparently, he was high himself, and so he was playing the music. And the only way he got caught was that he had the music up loud. This lady was trying to sleep. She had to go to work the next day. She calls the police and says, asked this guy to turn his music down. You know, the cops come. He's sitting there chilling out, and he's in the alley, waiting for these guys to come from New York to get the drugs. He said, and he just was like, hey, yeah, and just started telling everything. So what did they do? And this guy done a lot of time in prison. They set him up as an informant. So I had a former mayor who was going to run for mayor at the time, come into the studio when we had, the touch radio. I'm interviewing the person, and I'll just put it that way. And after the interview, she says to me, and I said she, I didn't mean to say the name anyhow, but she says to me, she says, listen, she says, she said, let me tell you how deep this thing is. She said, in 2 weeks or less, there's gonna be a major bust in Harrisburg. She said, and it's gonna be in the Hallman area and a couple other. She said, we've already identified the drug dealers. This guy's already turned state's evidence the whole bit. She said, I'm telling you, watch and see, you mark my words, and this guy who, had been arrested, he's going to get some time. They're going to say he was caught up like the rest of them. She said, we're going to send him up to not Sing Sing. What's in New York? Up in New York. Is that Sing Sing? But anyhow, no, Rikers Island. Send him up to Rikers Island because he had done time there before. And, it's going to seem like he just got caught up like everybody else. She said, but he is the main source of all these arrests. She said, he's been a gold mine for us. She said, that's how this thing works. She said, this is how this thing, she said, I'm telling you, if it doesn't happen in 2 weeks, you tell me, you call me. She says, and just simply say, hey, you lied. She said, but I'm telling you, it's already laid out. She said, the average person doesn't know what happens. Mayor Reed once said to me, God rest his soul. He said, so much of the crime that's committed in Harrisburg never gets into the Patriot News. He said, I mean, we have so many people getting mugged. Wow. Stores being broken into. These are all crimes,
Sure.
and the thing that brought it to light was the lady, Wendy Taylor. I mentioned her name because she's a white female who worked with the NAACP, and she got jumped going from her house to the corner store. She said it was a half a block. She said, and these kids jumped me, beat me really bad, and stole my purse and everything. She said she reported to the police, really made us think about it, and never made the Patriot News. And she was like, how come no one's followed up? How come that's not in the news? This and that. And she was well known around here. And she said, just think about that. Mayor Reed said, well, do you know how many people get mugged, robbed, at gunpoint, beat up, homosexuals being assaulted, just walking down the street? He said, every day. He said, you can't put all that stuff in the paper, So we don't really know the magnitude of what these police officers see and all of the PTSD that they go through. And so it's a rough job, man. We get that. But if you don't have the medal, then don't pick up the uniform and
You know what you're
raise
getting
that gun.
into, before you get into it.
Man, it's a lot, man. It's just a lot. That's why it's so important as poets and as writers. And it's like that brother just did. He used his platform not to talk about trees and love and all that kind of stuff, which is good,
Yes, sir.
But we need social conscious writers, people who are really going to tell and move us to action, not destruction, but action,
That's good. That's good.
So I just hope that more people step up to the plate, especially young people, and really, really start using their voice.
Talking about young people, did you have your writers workshop with Dr. Chow yet, or is that still coming up?
That's coming up, in
At
fact. Thank
the
you. That's
college.
going to be on April the 20th. And I think there's a flyer that's out there that shows that. April the 20th over at Central Penn College. And I appreciate you mentioning that because it's called We Wear the Mask. And this is Dr. Maria Chow, who is an excellent writer and excellent professor. She will be conducting this free workshop over at Central Penn College, followed by a repast where we have, refreshments and food and all that. And then we have a 2-hour open poetry microphone, mic night. And we're trying to get all the area poets out. Just come out and just have some fun. That's Saturday, April the 20th. And that's from 3 p.m. until about 8 is what we're kind of looking at. Because the workshop is from 3 to 5. And then we're going to have that hour long, eat, meet, greet kind of thing. And then we'll do 6 to 8, a open mic. And we'll have people like Wendy Noche Onye who will kind of host that, bringing people up to the microphone and all that kind of good stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun, We're gonna go back to the old days. We used to meet in person every week and then, do some things. I don't know if you can pull that flyer up, Brother Chris, but we do have that. I know on my Facebook page, the flyer exists, and it's kind of a red tint to
Okay,
it.
so on your Facebook page,
Okay, that's a great
this
picture.
is these are some of the
That's
key players.
Yeah, that's Wendy Noche Onye on the far right. That's Ro Brady in the middle, and then that's Maria Chow, it's spelled Thiaw. Her husband's from Senegal. She's the one there. So anyhow, and these people here, I'm not sure. Oh, that's Maria right there. Okay, yeah, yes, yes, yes. That must be some event that they had. Okay, there you see Ro Brady. They had their table set up for an event that they were featured at. In fact, the three of them have been reading together and doing some things. Okay. Now that was a picture of Sharia Ben, and she's the one furthest to the left right there. There you go. And she is a excellent actor and also director and playwright. And she has the Sankofa African American Theater Company. And this is Ro Brady. Ro's a teacher, and she had retired, and now she's still subbing. But she is a writer, for serious writer. She writes novels and plays. And the one play that Maria Chow did recently was called Hair Story. And she literally went out and interviewed people all over the place and found out their story and how their hair related to that story. And then she made that whole piece into poetry, like a choreo poem. And it was directed by Ro Brady. And Ro has her own organization, Ro Writes for You, and she does a lot of editing and ghosting and everything else under the sun as far as a support to writers. So that's great stuff. And there's our flyer called. It's in honor of National Poetry Month. Remember, April is Poetry Month from around the nation. It says "We Wear the Mask" is the name of the workshop. As you can see, Saturday, April the 20th, Central Penn College. From 3 to 5 is the workshop, 5 to 6 reception, and then 6 to 8 is the open reading, and it's all free. Notice it says free event. We're gonna have vendors there, and hopefully a lot of authors, writers who just simply want to share a part of them, their genius. So that's what it's all about. Let me also mention that on April the 13th, we'll be hosting the annual NAACP AXO competition. And AXO stands for Afro Academic Cultural Technological Scientific Olympics. And it was started back in 1977, 78. And I forget the gentleman's name, but he did a fantastic job of just conceptualizing this. And then he pretty much, kind of sold it or gave it to the NAACP to bring it, to life and really make it jump. He was doing it in smaller areas, but then the NAACP embraced it, and now it's done all throughout the country. So we have our local competitions, and then our young people who get a gold medal, they qualify to go to the national competition, which is always in conjunction with the NAACP's national convention. So this year, the convention will take place and the competition will take place in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we have a marvelous, gentleman who directs it. And he's not only the local AXO coordinator, he's the statewide AXO coordinator. And he really pours his heart and soul into this. Kava Brunson does an excellent job. And his daughter, one of his daughters, Damali Brunson, is the assistant director. She does a marvelous job. And then my wife and I, we work along with them to, coordinate the judges and line up all the judges. Then the judges have that task of hearing or reading or, witnessing these projects. And there are some 32 or 33 different categories that our students can participate in. And they can only do 3, categories in terms of the competition. I noticed one young person had listed 6 things they wanted to do. And it's like, nope, we can't do that. But, it shows how talented our kids are and how diverse, that talent can be. So anyhow, that's going to take place at the John Harris High School from, well, it starts at 10 officially. And then we'll have, all kinds of breakouts for the various categories that these students are, going to be, participating in. And then we will tell them in 2 weeks after that, the 27th of April, who won gold medals, silver medals, bronze medals, Yeah. So it's going to be great. If you're still interested in doing it and, participating as a student, you have to be ninth grade to 12th grade, at high school. You can do that by just simply Googling, NAACP Harrisburg AXO program. And it will show you all the information you need, all the forms that you will need to fill out, which aren't a lot, yeah, if you still want to get involved, you can. If you want to be a judge, we still have some slots open where, we can fit some more people in. Right now, we have a good cadre of judges. They're like, I think, what is it? Well, I forget exactly how many, but we have in some areas like only two, judges in a particular area. I like to have at least 3 judges, and at the minimum and 5 at the max, because you don't want to have too many judges and you don't have too few judges. So in a few of our areas, we do only have 2 judges. So we are still kind of open for that. So if you really want to be a judge, you can just simply email me at P as in Pat, Gadsden, Gadsden, at AOL.com, pgadsden at AOL.com. And we'd be more than happy to entertain you and, put you on one of the committees and, get you involved. It's a great thing. It really, truly is. And these kids are very talented. And one thing I like about the competition is it shows that our kids over here in Harrisburg, they're out there in Los Angeles, California, or down in Dallas, Texas, or some other big metropolis. But guess what? When it comes down to talent, they're all equal. I mean, our kids, we have had a gold medal winner in medicine 2 years ago, thanks to Madison Stokes. And also we had a bronze medal last year in the area of science. And the young lady, she did a great job, and we assist them, we try to help them, conceptualize their project, and we ask the hard questions so that they'll be ready for the panel of judges, and and they're in the same boat everybody else is in. It's a good thing, it really is. So anyhow, that's what's happening. I will say this also, proud to be a part of Messiah University's wonderful program that they have, and I'm just kind of drawing a blank right now, but it is a wonderful program that brings together African American churches and white churches. So, West Shore, East Shore. And we worked together for the better part of 2 years, having monthly meetings, presentations to us, really, and then also going out and exploring some things on our own. And so, yeah, it's a great opportunity. We are going to take a tour to the southern states and visit many of these civil rights iconic areas where, a lot of things took place. The Edmund Pettus Bridge, the Ebenezer Baptist Church where Dr. King preached, 15th Street Baptist Church where the children created the Children's March against, Jim Crow and against segregation and all that kind of good stuff. So, and we'll meet people along the way as well. I don't know how many states we're going to hit, but we're probably going to hit about, at least 10. And it's a 6-day trip. So it's going to be nonstop, action-packed. And we'll learn a lot about each other and about history. This is their second time doing this program. It's a 2-year program. And we're in the midst of the first year. And then we'll have a chance to, go even further in the second year in terms of our understanding of the issues and what we're called to do, because we are all called to be servant leaders, and that's what it's all about. But today, we're locked into the Wordshop, and don't sleep on the Midtown Scholar Bookstore. Midtown Scholar Bookstore is located on 3rd Street, right across from the Broad Street Market, and they bring in some of the best writers and speakers in the world. I mean, just literally in the world. And that person comes in, usually they have a major standing, room only kind of things going on. And it's a great venue, but they got a lot of work to do to move those books out of the way and all that, and then put them back after the concerts. amazing stuff, I'm telling you. But it is an amazing bookstore. If you've never been to the bookstore, go check out Midtown Scholar Bookstore. It is fantastic. It really is. Right on the corner of 3rd and Verbeck Street, you know. And this whatever you do, treat yourself to a good stroll through the through the bookstore. Okay. Yeah. So anyhow, what else is going on in the country that maybe I don't know about? If someone wants to come on and kind of talk about that, we can. There's a lot that's happening this year, just an election year for the president. And a lot of folks are leaning towards Biden and a lot of people leaning towards Trump. They're virtually neck to neck from what I understand in terms of where the standings are right now. I wouldn't be surprised if after all of these, legal issues that Trump is, spinning, I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden he just suddenly dropped out or did something, because he's been truly invested in saying that the election was rigged 4 years ago and, this and that and all that, and he won't let go. He will not let go that he lost this election. And it sounds like he's going to really double down, trying to, pardon those persons who are the January 6 rioters and people that support them. They went to jail. And some of them got some pretty long sentences. And I would be surprised if our president, if he were to get back in office, I would try everything and every trick in the book to let those people know that there's more than one way, to let your voice be heard. Writing a letter can also be extremely powerful as well. Writing a basic letter saying how you feel, writing a love note is always helpful. And I want to thank Betty Curtis for not only recommending me the book, but she actually went out and bought one for me. And it's really it's nice size, and she has a lot of good points in there. Yep. So my brother, usually we have people to come on and join us, and sometimes we don't. That's okay too. It just simply means that people are busy, trying to do what they do and get done what they need to, have done. And so, I'm going to ask Brother Chris if he doesn't mind bringing up another video, and we'll see that and see whether or not that stokes some interest in some people to come on. And then we'll, make a decision to abort tonight or, whatever. So let's ask Brother Chris to bring up another video for us then.
This is a short one, so we can follow it up with one before you make your decision. So,
sure.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Mother's Tongue, spoken word. The title of it's called Mother Tongue, Spoken Word.
Oh, yes, spoken word, absolutely.
To the girl in English class, what is funny? What is hilarious about my painful attempt to communicate in a language that is not even my own? See, this accent tells a story of survival. Tells how my mother tongue endured to this day, so I expect you treat my tongue with some respect. Every word, every syllable I utter comes from a riot within. My mouth is a babble between subconscious tongue, teeth, and vocal cord. So excuse you if my speech does not suit you. See, this speech comes from the slaughterhouse I call a mouth. See, my mouth is a battlefield. A clash of unyielding cultures, warring for dominance. See, my tongue is a traumatized survivor. Lost in this alien fluency. See, this accent is how I find my way home. How I say idikpi without biting my tongue. See, my tongue is forever at war with itself. Forever fighting to decolonize itself. Fighting to lose and regain itself all at the same time. So cut me some slack. I will not be ashamed nor refrain from saying my name. And no, I will not apologize for my mother's legacy. For there is no dignity in denying my identity. So to the girl in English class, it's about time you learn my own language too.
Nice. Let's talk Africa. I like that. I'm glad you found those, and you had someone last week too, some brothers and sisters from the continent. And it's good to hear them, spit like that. Yeah. You said you had another one too?
Yes, I'm trying to line it up here.
Okay, real good. No problem. Yes, indeed. So people just tuning in, if you don't know, I'm Nathaniel Gadsden. I founded this, what's called the Writer's Wordshop back in 1977. I come home from Westchester State College and decided to come back to my roots here. Born and raised here in Harrisburg, and we got this thing rolling with some local poets who didn't know they were local poets at the time. And we got sat down together and just started writing and creating a little platform, and never made it fancy. Never tried to overdo it. We have had over the years some excellent programs, however, that were pretty fancy, and that we actually had an adult version of Cookies and Milk at Night and reading stories one to another. But mostly what we read was poetry. It was great. We really did enjoy that. And we've had Kwanzaa festivals over the years, every year, just about. Yeah, it's every year, really. And also other kinds of things. We did a big reading on the Pride of the Susquehanna, which is a nice riverboat cruise that goes down the Susquehanna River. And we packed that thing out and had all these young people reading poetry, eating food. It was great. It was a great time. We've been a part of the African Family Festival for years, and always, participated in that. There you go. That's when we were down at that's my wife standing in front of me. We were down at the Midtown Scholar Bookstore, and the lady in the middle there holding up the books, that's Terry Martinez, who happens to be our daughter, and also she is a published author, and she also is the person that does all of our publishing for us. She has what's called TDUB, TUTDUB publishing, and she does a great job with that. In fact, she just put out a new anthology for us, and the anthology is really nice. And so, we want to get more traction with that, because that anthology actually was printed the first time around, I think 2002. And so we decided to bring that back out and, make it a lot more professional and all that. And Terry did it. She did a great job. And she's helping a lot of area writers here, TDUB Publishing. Yes, it's important to remember, who we are and how we are. There you go. Now, that's a great picture. And those are some of the young people that used to come down every week. And they're part of the tobacco cessation. Tobacco cessation. In other words, stop using tobacco, I don't want to say the wrong word now, you're looking up. And to be like, well, we're supposed to be embracing tobacco. No, not at all. I wish you could see my shirt. I'm saying it in the side. And on there says, like, it mentions Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, this man, it's a great shirt. I don't even know where it is right now, but it's a great shirt. And you saw Miss Lillian there on the far right-hand side. She was really responsible for bringing those kids down, by and large. And they were benefiting from that program. No question about it, yeah. So over the years, we've done a number of things, and every year we do have the Kwanzaa program. And so it's all about love, it's all about love and maintaining your dignity as well. Okay. Wow, look at that. This Wendy right in the middle. That's a row on the far left-hand side of Wendy. The young lady down at the bottom there, that's I can't pull her name, but she's a fine poet too. Very fine poet. And like I said, Wendy's there in the middle. That's Wendy No Cherry on that. The lady in the back here. I don't know if I can bring my little. Can you see my little arrow there? Nope. Hit the wrong thing. Yeah. So that's yeah. There you go. There she goes. That's Angela Bates, and Angela does a lot of work with these young people. And then the gentleman right behind Angela with the blue shirt on is the director of this program, doing great stuff. Make sure that these kids stay off the streets, learn and earn. They also do some learn and earn stuff, Yes, indeed. And so, great stuff, great stuff. Here's another poet, okay?
Here we go again, sweeping our problems under the rug of a house that needs to be cleaned. We keep the truth at its right temperature in the fridge. Hang up the suspicions in the closet with the skeletons, pray for our love in the garage with all these toxic fumes so our words will never come out clear. Taking our dreams on a ride to see the sunset just to rush back to the crib and fall asleep with our nightmares where the pillows communicate better than you. And sometimes I look at you, and the man I fell in love with wasn't a resident there. And these walls tell your fears because your tongue won't let you. This kitchen table is where we serve each other stories and contradictions. Is this how our love should be living? And I befriended the girl in the mirror that I fear most of my life. I have conversations with her that I can't have with you, and I'm begging you not to allow your demons to get comfortable on our couch. You place all your secrets you don't want anyone to find out about inside of me. I became your addict, addicted to all the ways you attempted to love me, scratching our boundaries into the floorboards, but you could never hear over the creaks, love ain't for the weak. And I started leaving the baggage on the front steps in case you were ready for me to go, as if we didn't build this house together and call it our home to weather to weather the storms we leave behind all these closed doors. Even hurricanes fear how you leave your lovers thrown around and destroyed. And I think you should contribute more to this foundation built on top of sacrifice. Pay more attention to keeping the lights on so everyone who dares to visit can see who you really are, laying me down on top of all this fresh linen, constantly having threesomes joined by our sinning. Love that at one point was so holy had me thinking about matrimony, and to be honest, we should have just built this house out of glass because we were supposed to be working on our transparency. And I realized you like to put up a front. I realized you like to throw flowers in the front. Flowers always had a way of making chaos look so pretty. They make lies so attractive, so sweet. And we can even use them to decorate the soil where we eventually will bury this relationship. And another definition of home is any place someone can take refuge, a shelter where you are protected from danger. But when you held her, all she felt was that. So how can we still even call this a home knowing those facts? How can we still call this a home when so much fear comes with loving you? Poem.
I like the way she ended that with poem. That's pretty classic. Great stuff. Great stuff. I like the way that she, worked that. And she was talking to her lover. And, it wasn't just syrupy, sappy. I mean, she really had a lot of imagery in there that's true, real stuff. And hey, give a lady credit. That's what I love about the writer's workshop, just to hear the genius of other people, just to hear the crafting that they do, and the way that, they use observation, and then all the various elements that they bring into telling their story. And they're telling a story. That's what poets do. They tell a story about something in their own way, so good stuff, really good stuff. Yeah, through the years, we've had some great people come this way, and I want to mention Keontae Ricks, who is a great poet, spoken word artist right now. He actually was at the last event, I'd call it a service, really, that Brother Russell Goodman sponsored over there at the Nativity School, and he had Keontae get up and do 2 poems, and he was really blown away by Keontae's, wordplay. And so, got to give the brother credit. He's really good at what he does. And also, we have people like I mentioned, Maria Chow, who's been a professor at Central Penn College for about 18 years. And now she's teaching at, I think it's Southern New Hampshire University, I think it's called. They have commercials on TV all the time. And you notice that Ro Brady in that picture that Brother Chris showed, who's a retired school teacher and just an excellent novelist who really crafts her stories based on a lot of real experience that she's had, in life. And she's both a playwright, a poet, as well as a novelist. And we've had guys like, Neil Owens, who's out of North Carolina, and he is a novelist, and he does a great job. And he has some award-winning books out already. And he has one coming out in August, September, that he'll be debuting. And then we're looking forward to that. And then also, I mentioned Wendy Noche. She is a wonderful poet, a real storyteller, and she writes long poems. And she also has a knack for, giving you that aha moment in her writings. And she uses her voice very well. She lived in Africa. She lived in, I think she said, Nigeria for 5 years. And just the richness of that. She has a son, Taff, who stands, I kid you not, 6'9", and he's a big man, and he's in culinary school doing good stuff. So hats off to, to Taff, who is a very good poet too, by the way, and all the work he's doing. And then, I can go on and on and on with Dr. Dorothy King, who was just honored during Martin Luther King's birthday down at the, what do you call it, in Hershey Motor Lodge, or the Hershey Convention Center. And, she was one of, I think, 4 or 5 people that were honored that night. And I just remember her being an integral part of the Writers' Workshop. Dr. Dorothy King is out of York, Pennsylvania. She lived in New York for a long time, and now she's back here in this area. She's retired from Penn State University, where she actually put on a play every year during Martin Luther King's celebration. She would put on an original play down at Penn State. And I think she did that for close to 20 years. So, hats off to her for all the hard work that she's produced. And we can go on and on and on. People like Betty Curtis. Betty is up in her 90s now, and she has served in the military. One of the first women, what they call them, WACs back then. I don't know if they still do call them that. But anyhow, she served and was in Korea and other parts of the world. And it was, yeah. She's a librarian by trade, as well as is Cheryl Harmon, who was an outstanding, person who graced the Writers' Workshop for a number of years. And, many of these people moved on now and with their careers, with their lives and other things, but they're still in our heart because they meant so much to the Writers' Workshop, over the years. So if you want to be a part of it, listen, we're going to have a great program on April the 19th. Come out, show us what you got, get involved, and you'll have a lot of fun. We have people like Dan Snowden, who is not really, he didn't consider himself a poet or whatever until he decided to write some poetry. And now he's written some excellent stuff, and he has his own perspective on life and how things, are to be. So it's really good to have Dr. Dan Snowden, who's an actual scientist. He has his doctorate degree from Penn State University. And he's really into his poetry. And we're just trying to get him to publish now because he's ready. He really truly is. Lazille Powder out of New York. Lazille, as Brother Chris said at the top of the show, has her own show right here on The Voice every Saturday at 11:30 to 12. And she writes poetry constantly. Anytime she comes on, said, I just wrote this morning. I just wrote this, right before I came on or something like that. And she's serious. That's how much writing she's doing. But also she discovered she's a very fine painter as well. And so she's a multifaceted person who, graces the Writers' Workshop. And we have on and on and on. I can't mention them all, but I just want to give you a taste of, who comes and what they do. And so maybe you're interested in, being a part of this, or maybe you know somebody who is. You can always give me a call. You see those, that's a great flyer there too. Brother Chris did this flyers for me. Give me a call though, and you can find out, if this is the right fit for you. And if so, let's make it happen. So Brother Chris, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna forfeit some of my time tonight, and it's all good. And I'll tell you why, because I literally stayed up until about 4 o'clock this morning, after 4:30, almost 5 o'clock. Working on the Axo material. Had to get up at 7 o'clock a.m. and haven't been back to bed since. And so it's one of those things where, got that 2 hours in, I'm hanging in there, so to speak. But I know I'm gonna be crashing soon. But I'm looking forward to next Saturday, that wonderful competition. We have 75 students that have signed up for the AXO competition. 75 is the largest number we've ever had. Last year, I think we had 52, and that was a record. This year we had 75. So that's a testament to Brother, Calvin Brunson really getting out there and searching out these pockets where students are and then selling the program to them. And a lot of kids are beginning to say, yeah, I want to try it. I want to be a part of it. In the past 2 years, we've had 2 young ladies write essays as a part of Napita Nyong'o, who is the African sister who won the Oscar for 12 Years a Slave. And she was also the love interest in the movie Black Panther to Chadwick, to the Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman. But anyhow, she gave 40 young ladies from around the country of 2 years running, $10,000 apiece to go to college. So we had 2 young ladies from Harrisburg, Smith, I'm messing up her first name, but her sister Smith, and she's at Howard University as a freshman. And then last year, we also had a young lady by the name of Mabella. Her parents are the owners of pharmacy, Esher Pharmacy, and she won a $10,000 scholarship, and she's at the University of Pittsburgh. So yeah, our young people are thriving, making it happen, and competing on the world stage. It's a wonderful thing. All thanks to the hard work of Brother Kaba and the other persons involved in the AXO program. I'm going to cut it loose. I see my voice is going down. Brother Chris, thank you so much. Those people who come on late tonight, they'll just have to catch us next week. Okay? All right. Oh, that's the old picture. That's a great one. When we used to have the Power program coming down. And that's Miss Lillian in the red there. And that's Norman Kinley Barber, who served in the military. And standing up front here, she's presenting. Yeah. Indeed. This is our program on Sunday, April the 7th. Don't forget, we're going to be hosting our brother, Russell Goodman, Pastor Russell Goodman, who's a dynamic speaker. He'll be speaking for us here at Life Stream Ministry, Redeemed Christian Church of God, 3600 Wartan Way. Come on out and support the brother. We have a good time. And thank you, Brother Chris. See everybody next week, God willing. All right. Good night.